Goodness gracious. It is wonderful to see all of you again. It's been a long time. You know, I haven't had these yellow shoes out of my closet for a year. It's kind of crazy. Also, Geraldine told me this is the only shirt in my closet that goes with yellow shoes. So apparently they're not easy to match. We have a lot to get through. We have just a phenomenal event. And I want to say how much it means to me and to all of us at Moz that you guys are here for this. It is a wonderful experience to know that the community that we've been building together as an industry gets to have an event as special as this one. And believe me, this is going to be something. All right, so apparently we're going to get to see my face again. I'm going to talk about a couple of big trends, as always, as is tradition, from the last year in web marketing, and then I'll be diving into a little bit about what Moz has been up to and prep you for some of what to expect here at the conference. So, first off, I'm of the opinion that the search marketing field, and the web marketing field more broadly, is actually on the verge of serious regulation for potentially the first time. First time in a big way. And obviously there's a few things that have led to this. Those of you from the UK probably remember the lovely cookie law that your government, I don't know, came up with. I really like this graph. I thought it illustrated the trend perfectly. Helped with one of those two things. And luckily this policy was so ridiculous that I believe it was repealed just before the penalty actions took place. So thank you, I guess. That looks like a lot of the regulation stuff that I see around cookies. But cookies aren't the only thing, right? So Canada had this very aggressive email spam law that went into effect recently. I believe you can get fined $1 million per incorrectly sent email or per email you're not supposed to. The EU's right to be forgotten, though, this is the big one. This is the one that really has me thinking that the EU might be more serious about cracking down on Google. And you can see the requests are pouring in. Google's handling of it has been, I think, a little bit cheeky. They've sort of, I think they've leaned to making things feel a little bit broken in that they don't want the regulators to feel like they implemented something effectively. That's not to say the regulators aren't not to blame either. The FTC, obviously, in the US has some disclosure guidelines, and the US, I was kind of shocked about how close we came to legislation of digital marketing in the US back in May, and sort of narrowly avoided it, probably through some combinations of lobbying and promises of campaign donations. Google themselves has staved off regulation much more intelligently, in my belief, than Microsoft did, for example, in the 90s, and you can see why and how. So this is a wonderful chart from the Washington Post showing that Google has now become the second largest lobbying spender in the United States, which is a little bit scary, but also makes good sense, right? Google is an incredibly powerful company. They control a ton of data and technology. No wonder. The sucky part, the part that really frustrates me, and I think frustrates a lot of people in this room, is that, yeah, well, Google has this clout. They have this influence. We don't. I'm actually disappointed to say that over the last 15 to 20 years, even though the search marketing industry is one of the closest, most tight-knit, most wonderful groups of people I've ever been around in my professional or personal life, we have really failed to put together an organizational, governing body, something like what they have in the email marketing world, something like what they have in the web analytics world. And I'm really hopeful that this doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. And respect to Sempo for trying. I believe they have tried, but it's been an effort met with futility thus far. Number two. This is a little weird. So I have been a champion, as many of you probably know, of the term inbound marketing for a long time. I liked how it condensed me having to say SEO and social and content and community and all the other things that are not paid but generate traffic to your website for free, but you have to work on them hard. That was a mouthful. Inbound marketing was an easy way to say all of those things together, but it's a little weird. Take a look. So you can see back in 2012, right, when I was like, hey, I think this inbound marketing thing is taking off. 2012, it really looked like it was taking off. And then someone shot by it like a rocket. In the last year, this is from Simply Hired's data, you can see job posts using inbound marketing down 46%, job posts using content marketing up 90%. And so you and I know the difference, right? Inbound marketing based on earning attention rather than buying it, interrupting. Content marketing, producing and promoting content to earn customers. Okay, there's a difference, but outside of our industry, these subtleties are not seen, right? What we call SEO and social and content and community and earned media and these kinds of things, content marketing, that'll do just fine for 90% of these job posters. Well, such is the way. Google. I have seen their penalties take a huge toll on spam, a very effective toll over the last couple of years, but they have also hurt a lot of businesses and hurt a lot of marketers and people who hire marketers. And I think they've made our industry, well, challenging in a lot of fascinating ways. So, you know, Google has their sort of milestones for spam fighting that you can find on their website. And what's interesting to me is for the first 15 years of Google, what they said is, you worry about making a great site, we'll worry about taking care of spam. Great, you take care of spam, I'll make a great site. I'm on it. Now it's, you know what, make a great site, and you worry about your own spam and anybody else's spam, because it might hurt you, even if you had nothing to do with it. And you should check in, I don't know, every hour or so in your Webmaster Tools account, make sure there's no spam pointing to you. I mean, it's not that bad, but this has sparked huge amounts of fear and uncertainty and doubt around things like negative SEO. I actually like this post by Craig Addyman from Bronco, works with Dave Naylor out in the UK. Did a great job explaining that what most of us fear as negative SEO, which is bad links pointing to me, that generally speaking will not hurt you on its own. But there's a lot of very illegal, very unethical, very nasty hacking type things that can potentially hurt you, and what to watch out for there. Whoop. Marshall Simmons, who's speaking here, I'm proud to say this here, I really like what he said at SMX. He said, Google is the new IRS and we are the new tax accountants. It's true, right? Like, if we're constantly having to audit and maintain and monitor, Google's essentially saying, you know, full employment for anyone doing SEO. You have to always keep your eye on that ball. It's kind of crazy. Number 4. I'll show you some fascinating data on this. So from 1997 to 2010, which was a good long run, people kind of called themselves SEOs, right? But today, that is changing. SEO in your job title, there's 17,625 profiles in the United States on LinkedIn with SEO in their job title. There are 133,000 with SEO in the job description. That's a big difference. From kind of 2011 to modern day, we're seeing less of the SEO is my job title, and rather SEO is part of my job. It is one of my tactics, one of my activities, one of the things I'm responsible for, but it is not my job title, at least nowhere near where many of us thought it might be. Number 5, Google, shortening the searcher's journey. So okay. I am as frustrated and pissed off about this as many people, right? Essentially this idea that Google can just, we had a deal, right? Back in the day, we had a deal. 1998 rolls around, Google comes out and they say, hey, we want to be able to crawl all y'all's websites. And in exchange, any content we get from you that we list, we will send traffic to you, right? We'll refer traffic to you. We'll take a little snippet and we'll send traffic to you. And that is not what they are doing anymore, right? This is not, here's a snippet. This is essentially, I'm going to take your content, I'm going to show it to people. You'll never know that anyone or who might have seen it. You will get no ad impressions. You won't get to control the experience. You'll have no analytics data about it. Your content is now mine because I'm the 800-pound gorilla and you don't have a lobbying body. So, hey, that's how it goes. Title take, like I think Dr. Pete, you're going to be showing some cool stuff on this later on as well. I actually looked this up while making a presentation. If you click that 7 more items, it'll drop down. If I didn't know better, I'd say Google was just like, oh, Microsoft, yeah, let's take all their content and put it right in here. Actually, I do have some feedback, now that you mention it. You guys are dicks. If you don't feel like Lando Calrissian yet, you will. You will. So here's where I want to have some empathy for Google. In order to feed their revenue engine, Google has to grow, not search market share, because they have 90% plus share in virtually every country outside of China, South Korea, and Russia, maybe the Czech Republic. Even in the United States, they have 85 to 90%. ComScore's data is almost certainly wrong. And what they want to provide is instantaneous answers that don't require a click, because our psychology as users of the web, as users of mobile devices, is getting more and more demanding. More and more demanding, and because of that demandingness and crazy amount of demand, we need instant answers, and if we don't get them, we will go to someone who provides them for us. And so I'm of the opinion that what Google is doing here is trying to grow queries and grow addiction to search. And it could be the case that if they succeed, this will actually grow the pie for all of us. Maybe. You know, it's like Vader saying, hey, once I conquer all the planets, I'm going to bring peace to the Empire. And you decide if you believe it. If you're in our space, you really only have 2 logical courses of action, in my opinion. Number 1, you got to diversify your traffic channels. And this means investing heavily in things that might be very hard. In a lot of spheres, social is a very hard channel to grow. In a lot of spheres, content marketing is a hard channel to grow. Direct and brand, tough channel to grow. But what choice do you have? And number 2 is to become more important to Google and Google's searchers than Google's traffic is to you. It's a rock and a hard place. All right. So the year at Moz. This last year has been a very challenging one. In fact, it's the last 12 months have certainly been the hardest of my professional career. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And I'm not going to go into all of them. But I will say we have done some remarkable things. We launched a new platform, Moz Analytics, had kind of a rocky start, but I think is under Matthew Brown's stewardship. Hate to compliment Matt Brown, but boy, he's done a good job. Under his stewardship, I think it's become a really great product. We have a new CEO, Sarah Bird, who you'll get to spend a little bit of time with. Oh, yeah. She's fantastic. She's one of my longest and closest friends, and is doing a wonderful job as CEO. I emailed her the other day and said, I almost feel a little bit bad because no one has told me that they wish I was back in the role. Not one person ever. It's fine, don't tell me that. I won't believe you anymore anyway. We launched a new tool this February, Fresh Web Explorer, which has quickly grown to become my favorite. I'm addicted to that guy. We launched a new Moz bar about a month ago. We launched some help with not provided a few weeks back through the landing pages report that kind of predictively shows which keywords are sending traffic probably to your sites and pages. And today, we actually launched something new. It's been a while since we had a mozcon launch. This is the new action dashboard, which you'll find inside Moz Analytics. Your data may not be in there until the end of the week, but it might be. And you can talk to Matt Brown. He'd love to chat with you about this. And Moz has, in my opinion, a big challenge ahead of it. And that big challenge is to become the promise of what we can become. I have never worked with more talented people than I work with today. I think the team is just extraordinary. As is proven by all of you here today, our community, the demand for great software in this industry, the demand for great content in this industry has never been stronger. And I think we have an obligation to live up to that potential. I'm excited and scared and hopeful about that challenge. So you all need to get ready for an amazing mozcon. It is going to be amazing. We've got seriously our most impressive speaker lineup yet. And we try and top that every year, looking for people from all across the marketing world and technology worlds. Some new faces, some old favorites. You're going to see some seriously impressive speakers.